Hey everyone, this is D, Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And I am coming to you guys today for something that I have not done in a really, unfortunately, long amount of time. So I talk all the time about, literally, my tagline says, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions, but I've really been slacking on the reactions piece. The last reaction I did was for the They Clone Tyrone trailer. In that same reaction, I said, it's been about 10 months since the last reaction I did, which I believe was for The Gilded Age. And then now it's been a year and a half. I don't know what to say, but I do know that as of late, I've been on live streams and I've been talking about how, that's a part of my tagline. And, I do the occasional trailer reaction and I'm trying to get back on board. And I was like, you know what? If I don't just do it, it's not going to happen. It's going to be another year, 2 years this time, 2.5 years. So I'm like, nah, let me get back on board. And ultimately, for those of you who aren't familiar, what I love about doing the trailer reactions aren't even really about the reactions. I love trailers in general. And I just love how with any trailer, or most, just seeing how the editors or the creators of it, come about showcasing the story or whatever it is, the vision that's going to be established for that particular film. And there are some trailers that I can always come back to just because they're so well made. I probably need to do a video about that one of these days, but that's really why I like trailers. And the reaction part is just more so about the appreciation of that. But then what I also try to do to make my reactions, just distinguished a little bit. It's not even something I plan to do. It's giving information, like what's the background, what's up with the director and this cast and the crew, the behind the scenes stuff. I love that, and I love using these reactions to provide that information. So I was like, what, it's been too long, I'm long overdue, so I'm like, let me just go ahead and take the opportunity. And what better opportunity to take that than with the newest teaser for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and Jenna Ortega. And for the first time, again, in a very long time, let's get into it. No, they didn't. Oh boy. Oh, not the bridge.
Daylight come and we want to go.
Oh boy.
Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.
Yes.
Daylight come and we want to go. Me say day, me say day, me say day.
Oh man.
The juice is loose.
Oh. Oh, wow. Yes, just from that little man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of excited. So for those of you who just came by for the reaction, thanks for stopping by. And it's fine if you have to go elsewhere. But for those of you who are interested, I of course have to give you all my background on this film. So when it comes to Tim Burton, he is absolutely an important director for me as far as my early film appreciation. late 80s, early 90s. I always talk about how Batman Returns is a huge part of my superhero introduction trifecta, along with Batman the Animated Series and Batman Mask of the Phantasm. But then there's also The Nightmare Before Christmas as my introduction to stop motion animation. And Sleepy Hollow was also significant as far as developing my appreciation of horror at a fairly young age. And the same for Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, as far as expanding my appreciation and experience with musicals, or in this case, movie musicals. I do think Beetlejuice is a classic film. It is not for everyone, but I also think that it's a film I didn't fully appreciate until I got much, much older. It has his signature style all over it, and there's plenty of macabre, creepy fun, And I think he is another director whose films, along with films like The Addams Family and Death Becomes Her, gave me, again, that early appreciation for films with a darker edge that just were a little twisted, a little bit off, but were just enough for me to appreciate without being completely traumatized, if you know what I'm saying. Beetlejuice was the 10th highest grossing film of 1988, and it also won an Academy Award for Best Makeup, which was well deserved for obvious reasons. So back in 1990, Tim Burton was actually planning to do a sequel to Beetlejuice titled Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, but that eventually got derailed by Batman Returns, ironically enough. And over the years, there were multiple ideas discussed, like Beetlejuice and the Haunted Mansion, Beetlejuice Goes West, but nothing ever came of it, and the sequel that people were hoping for pretty much got stuck in development hell. In the meantime, Tim Burton did create and develop the animated spin-off that aired on ABC for 3 seasons, plus an additional season on Fox. We also had video games on PC and Game Boy. Throwback! Lastly, we had a musical adaptation that premiered on Broadway in 2019 and is currently touring throughout the US until summer of 2025. I plan on seeing that very, very soon. You guys know I am the musical guy. I definitely can appreciate it when it comes to, movie musicals, but on the stage, that is the scene for me. It gets no better than that. So yes, we have had multiple adaptations, but the sequel, it's just never materialized. Until now. So of course, we have Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara all reprising their roles as Beetlejuice, Lydia Deetz, and Delia Deetz. All I will say about Charles Deetz without giving anything away is that if you know anything about the actor who portrayed Charles Deetz in the first film, then you won't be surprised concerning certain developments of the character in this film. That's the best way I know how to put it, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Alongside our OG cast, we have plenty of new cast members, including, of course, Jenna Ortega, who has absolutely skyrocketed career-wise over the past couple of years. We had The Fallout in 2021, Scream, X, and Wednesday in 2022, and then Scream 6 in 2023. Now, I do enjoy Jenna Ortega for the most part. I think she's a fairly solid actress, but I know how fickle the audience can be, especially when they see certain actors and actresses over and over and over again. Jacob Elordi is another example. I'm not saying they're not talented, but sometimes when you get certain actors and actresses that keep getting pushed in your face, it doesn't go so well. So I'm interested to see what she brings to the role of Astrid. I'm really intrigued to see Lydia as a mother, then of course with these 3 generations of Deetz women, seeing how that's going to play out in the story. And clearly Beetlejuice is no longer relegated, to that miniature world anymore, and I'm really curious to find out why that happens. So really intrigued just to see how certain aspects of this story plays out, especially with the new cast. We also have Justin Theroux as a character named Rory, Monica Bellucci as a character, I'm not going to spoil, but it is a character I am very, very excited to see. And then we also have William Dafoe as an afterlife police officer. What I also know about this film is that there is not going to be an over-reliance on technology and I'm guessing digital CGI effects. And we're also, of course, going to have the return of stop motion. Like I said, Tim Burton was the one who introduced me and probably a lot of children or, young adults, whatever, to stop motion animation. Some people probably were already familiar with it. But for me, that was my big oh, wow, this isn't just hand-drawn. This is something completely different. So obviously the first film had the use of that. So seeing that technique employed once again, I am beyond excited. As far as the Maitlands, I'm pretty sure they're not going to figure into this story, which I'm sad about. I think there's a possibility they might pull a Princess Leia at the end of Rogue One. I can see them doing something like that, although I don't know how. But I'd be interested in seeing what would be the explanation for them not being there, considering, their circumstances. We will also have the legendary costume designer Colleen Atwood creating costumes for this film. Now, she has previously collaborated with Tim Burton on his films Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, Sweeney Todd, and the list absolutely goes on. So it's only fitting that she be a part of this project. We already see she has brought back the classic, black and white stripes. I had to be on. I had to coordinate, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see that, but I'm also just excited to see what the costumes are going to look like this time around. We definitely had some memorable looks in that first film. And if anyone is going to bring it, Colleen Atwood is definitely the person for the job. Now, overall, part of me is a little bit iffy when it comes to decade-long sequels. It's already hard enough to get a sequel that recaptures everything that made that first film great, but then it also gets even more dicey because, as I've said before, as time moves on, filmmaking evolves or devolves, if you ask certain people. And just some of the filmmaking styles and the writers, it's just things change and it's not always for the better. And even if it is better, it's just hard to recapture that same, trying to capture lightning in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that saying before. So as of now, from what I'm seeing, I am cautiously optimistic. I can't help but have just a little bit of hope, even if it's just... To quote a line from Cloud Atlas, even if you have but a flea of hope, it's hard to get rid of fleas. So I'm holding on to a little bit of hope, just hoping we get something that's at least solid. Please. I know we had Top Gun Maverick, but that was one that blew everyone away. And I think it was given such a degree of consideration and care and... I don't know, it was done with such a fine eye that, it couldn't help but be good. But I just want this film to have that same impact, hopefully, where you just feel like, oh, okay, yeah, you guys cared about bringing this to the screen and it wasn't just a cash grab. Because Lord knows we are tired of those. Please, stop. So all I can do is have hope. And for now, hope is all that I have. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice will be released in theaters September 6th, 2024. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on the original Beetlejuice. Is it a classic? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Did we need a sequel? Do you have hope? Do you feel like just leave it alone? I know that's a very constant sentiment when it comes to remakes and sequels, for good reason. But still, just give me your thoughts on, the casting. How is this looking to you? What are your expectations and what are you hoping for? Of course, you may feel free to leave your thoughts down below and let me know what you think. And until next time, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you at the movies.